So basically I almost died and it changed my life. So yay for life-changing near-death experiences. Hey mom and random people on the internet watching this right now, it's Zizi, and the other day something kind of crazy happened. I almost died. Now I know what you're probably thinking. You're either thinking, oh my gosh, this is like so clickbait, or you're thinking, oh my gosh, you almost died. Why almost? Why don't you just die? Or you're simply thinking, whoa, what the fuck? Basically, I didn't even want to film this video because I didn't quite know how to talk about what happened, and I also wasn't sure if I should just like mention it in a vlog, because on my vlogs I talk a lot about stuff like this and just like stuff that happens in my life and deep thoughts of mine. But then I figured I might as well make this into a separate video because I think that this is really important and I think that this is worth a watch. It just like literally changed my life. Like, this isn't even clickbait. Like, oh my gosh, what the fuck's going on? I know you guys know that I love being like over dramatic and over exaggerating everything, but it's about to get real and this is like real shit, and I'm not gonna exaggerate anything for comedic reasons or whatever. I'm just like, I'm gonna talk about my experience and share it with you guys. And maybe this quite negative thing might have a positive impact on someone's life, because it definitely did on mine. So, quick backstory. I was on my way to work the other day in my car, just like driving. Now, I don't enjoy driving that much. I'd rather just not drive, especially after that experience that I'm about to talk about. But yeah, I was just driving to work and I took a little road, because if you don't know, I live like in the middle of nowhere. So we have like a lot of little roads that not everyone knows about, but you can take them and you get to your destination quicker, and just like, you know what I mean, like the countryside. So I drove through the woods in the middle of nowhere, no phone signal, no people around, no anything. Now I know my areas of the countryside, I know my little roads, and I also know that there is like one bit on that road that I took that day which is kind of dangerous, and although we had like nice and warm weather and all the snow was gone, in this little part of that road there still was snow like on the sides of it, but the road was completely clear, but it still was like wet because this part is in the woods and it never gets sunlight, so there was still like this like wet kind of layer on the road. And I always drive extremely slow at this part of the road, like even in summer, just to make sure, because I know that it can get quite dangerous. So the other day I also drove slow and I kind of hit the brake, but not soon enough, and I just like, oh my gosh, I'm like getting all shaky. I basically just like, the car began to kind of get out of control and it just like went from side to side of that little road. I really don't know who was watching over me in that very moment, but I'd like to say thank you very much, because basically the car just like slid on the road and then I went right into the field next to the road. And you know, you have to know that this field, like, it goes downhill like very fast and it goes downhill like very far, and there's snow everywhere, and I just like, I don't know what I did, I just like held onto the steering wheel, and within the matter of seconds I managed to stop the car without like flipping over the entire car, without breaking anything in the car, and without dying. I then just sat in the car for a bit in the middle of nowhere in a puddle of snow, not knowing what to do and just like shaking and like losing my mind. As I said, there was no phone signal, but I tried calling my mom, and like for a few seconds I got through and I was like, Mom, something like very bad happened, because at that point I just like basically was worrying about the car, which might sound so dumb to you, but basically in that moment I didn't even realize that I just like almost killed myself. I just was like, oh my gosh, my mom is gonna be so mad about a car and shit. So I just sat there and tried to call her and I was like, Mom, something very bad happened, and I was like all shaky and stuff, and then the phone just lost signal and there I was, and I didn't know what to do because I was stuck in the field and I couldn't get out of it with the car, and I also like didn't want to drive the car at this point because I was like so shook about everything. A few minutes later, two men pulled over and helped me get the car out of the field, and everything was fine, and they were like so lovely and so nice, and I said like thank you a trillion times, and they were like, oh my gosh, we normally never drive that road, like you got very lucky that we actually came along like so quickly, because obviously there was no phone signal, and I was just like It was just a lot. I then basically just like simply drove the car to the next village and called my mom because I finally had phone signal again, and she was just like crying on the phone, and she was just like, oh my gosh, for like the last 20 minutes I basically was thinking that I would hear like the helicopter outside and you died and you would go to the hospital and you would like go into coma or whatever, and she was just like a mess and I was a mess. And I don't know. Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that in that moment the car began to kind of slip, and I was just like sitting there. And you know how people say like before you die you get this like whole show reel of moments of your life and of people in your life and stuff, and it's just like very dramatic and stuff. Well, I wouldn't say that this happened, and obviously I also didn't die, just like almost. There was only one thing on my mind, and that thing was my mom and people I love and my best friends and stuff. And then when I kind of managed to stop the car and was just like sitting there for like a few minutes, I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, like my best friend, like he doesn't even know that I love him like very much. You guys out there probably already start getting annoyed about the fact how much I talk about this, but last year was the worst year of my life. And I went through the roughest time with my bestie from school, and just like overall those friends that I had, or still have, I don't know. But basically when I sat in that car, all I could think about is, wow, there are so many people out there that I appreciate and love, and I never really like tell them. So that was what I did that day. I just like sent him a little message and I told him that I loved him, and when I got back home I hugged my mom and I didn't let go for like several minutes. And it's just like, it's important to tell the people that you appreciate them, because maybe you think that they are aware of this and that they know that you like love them. But they probably don't, and it's like such an easy thing to just like send a little text from time to time when you think of someone, or just like give them a call, or just like tell them when you wake up in the morning and you just like want to tell them, because there's so many situations where I want to tell people that I appreciate them, but then I think like, oh my gosh, it might feel weird and stuff. But it brings them so much joy to simply be nice and let them know how you're feeling, because they probably didn't realize, and it could like genuinely like make their day, make their week. Like the one thing I took away from this whole situation, and I want you guys out there to take away from this whole situation, is when you care about someone, tell them. When someone's important to you, let them know. Because at the end of the day, all I could think was, oh my gosh, imagine if I had died. Like so many people would probably be like very shocked about that, but they also like wouldn't know how important they were to me. And yeah, maybe this accident was supposed to be way worse, but someone decided to give me a second chance and make things better, and just like make sure that I kind of cleared the air and kind of let everyone know what they should know before I leave this planet. Wow, this just was a lot. Anyways guys, I hope I kind of got my point across. And if I did, although it feels like very weird right now, I'm just like gonna promo. You should subscribe, click that bell, and you should also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You know what I would like to see in the comments? Comment and tell me something you appreciate about a person in your life. Then take that comment, take like a screenshot, or just like copy and paste it and send it to them. I also think that I will do like much more positive vibes shit like that on my other social media, so if you want to follow, you definitely can, and you can like tag your loved ones in my posts and just let them know why you appreciate them and stuff. I would love to kind of represent positivity in that form. Whew, as I said, I didn't plan to film this video in the first place, but I'm kind of like really glad I did. Anyway, thank you for wasting your time with me today. Okay, bye! I seem a little pissed, and you know what? You are not wrong. Reunited with my very close friendship group back from high school, who I have kind of lost touch with for over a year now. One of the worst mistakes I made in my life. I'm just like still shook. Ooh.